Do you ever find that there's more month than money? That's to say, you look at your bank statement or credit card bills and you're in disbelief. You don't know where the money's gone. Well, if you're in the 10% of people that statement just means nothing to, this video isn't for you, but for the rest of us. Listen carefully. I read a study recently that said that 17% of spending goes unnoticed. That's to say that almost a fifth of what we all spend, we can't really pinpoint what we spent that money on. At the end of this video, I'm going to share a simple calculation that, if you apply it, can save you years, yes, years of retirement saving just for making one or two habit changes. So I'm out in the moment in our little red car you might have seen in a video a few months ago. 13-year-old car that I absolutely love. I love this car. I'm going to come on to cars in a little while. I've just got a couple of errands to run, and then I'm going to share 3 money mistakes that people make, and also a light bulb moment for Sarah and I that changed us from being spenders to savers. But let me get this work done and then we'll get onto it. I'd hate to think that you put us on a pedestal. When you watch our videos, you look at us and think, oh, these guys have got it all going on. They know exactly what to do. The reason why we make these videos is we're just so fascinated with the subject of money around retirement, because we used to be awful with money. You're going to see exactly what I mean in this video. And just to prove that, I'm going to tell you a story in a moment about a money mistake that I used to make. And I was an idiot. I mean, a total idiot. This mistake was so great that I made it over and over again, knowing it was a mistake, and every time suffering with buyer's remorse. So I'm just going to share a couple of things about my relationship with cars, because this does relate to cars. First of all, I am not a petrol head. I have no interest in Formula One, and I have no desire to one day do a track day. I have no idea what goes on underneath the bonnet of these things, and I have no desire to ever find out either. If you said to me that you've got a 9-cylinder car with a 2-stroke water-cooled carburettor, I wouldn't be impressed. I'd be thinking, have you got more important things in your life? I challenge any of you to come up with a money mistake bigger than the one I'm going to talk about today. And I've completed all the errands, so what I'm going to do is head back to where we're staying, grab myself a coffee and get into the detail of this. This isn't pretty, and I'm pleased I'm amongst friends. Please don't come after me in the comments. The reason why I'm telling you this is to help you if you've been in the same situation or you're in the same situation. I need a coffee. I've done the bins. Sarah's going to be impressed. There we go. Chores done. I want to get this made before the sun comes over this mountain here, so I'm going to get straight into it. And the thing is, when I was younger, I had this thing for changing cars every 3 years, and I had this one car that had 24 valves. Yes, you heard me right, 24 valves. The car, the next trim level below, only had 16 valves, and I wasn't willing to make that kind of sacrifice on valves. And, you know, you might be there thinking, what is a valve? I don't know. And that's kind of the problem. After that, I had a a Japanese sports car, 3-litre engine sports car that when you put your foot down, it made this big noise. It was incredible. And I was dating Sarah back then as well. That was 25 years ago, I think. And she used to tell me that she could hear me coming when I was picking her up on a date over half a mile away. That car was so loud. I had this other car that was a Japanese sports car that was white. That's all I remember about that one. And I always think about what you're thinking watching these videos. And you're probably thinking, look, I'm not interested. I've got no interest in cars. No, neither have I. And neither did I. And I'm at a loss to try and work out why this was. And it had nothing to do with the size of my manhood. I have to get that out there before someone puts it in the comments. But what I did do is ask ChatGPT, why do people buy sports cars when they aren't even particularly interested in cars? and it suggested it could be one of the following: aesthetics and design, so what the thing looks like. Yeah, it looked nice, yeah. Experience and thrill. No, that 3-litre car, when I went on a test drive, I was too scared to drive it, so the dealer drove it, and his part-time hobby was racing driving. I thought he was going to kill me. I wasn't thrilled by that at all. Next one, midlife crisis. Well, this was all in my 20s, so a bit early for that. The collectability and investability? Nah, I've not even looked, but these cars were not collectibles. Marketing and branding? I've got to say no, because I had no interest in cars, so I don't remember seeing any marketing or branding on them. Next one, though, I guess is the closest. Social perception. ChatGPT says sports cars can enhance one's social image and how they're perceived by others. People may buy these cars to fit into a certain lifestyle or to project a particular image, even if they don't have a genuine passion for automobiles. So let's say it's that. You know what? I don't even think it was that. I think it was just purely a mistake. I got into a rut of doing something and I carried on doing it. And this was at a time financially I just was not good with money at all. And believe me, when you had the kind of money issues I had in my 20s, having a 3-litre car where the head gasket blows isn't exactly good for your financial situation. What I'd love to do here is put pictures up of me stood next to my cars, and that would add a bit of flavour to this video, wouldn't it? You get a sense of who I was and what I was. Do you know what? I had such little interest in those cars, I didn't take one photograph of any of them. So I haven't got those to share. I can't even pretend. So I'm not coming into this video saying, look at me, I'm the master, use my wisdom for how things happen. I'm coming into this saying, bring out your dead. What is it you're wasting money on? Literally wasting money. Have a think about that now. If you want to put it in the comments, by all means. So this first money mistake people make is all to do with spending on big ticket items. And I think there's two questions that we should all be asking ourselves when spending this kind of money. Who is it for? So, if you're buying it because you've got just an undying love for that item, you can't even pinpoint why, but you love and adore that item, then yeah, maybe you should get it. But if you're doing it because of social perception, then you're spending money on something that you're not getting the value out of. You're spending money on something that, well, you're buying it for someone else. You're buying it for somebody else's perception of you. So I guess that means that you should be maybe crowdsourcing, crowdfunding. Say to them, give us a bit of cash, I want to go out and buy something expensive to impress you. Funny, it makes me remember, I often will say to people, I wish I could afford a Ferrari. And they'd say, I didn't know you wanted a Ferrari. And I'd say, no, I don't want a Ferrari. I wish I could afford a Ferrari, because then I'd get that money, not spend it on a Ferrari, I'd invest it wisely in low-cost index funds. Gives me a little chuckle anyway. And the other question I'd ask anyone to ask themselves before spending money on a big ticket item is, what is the utility value that you're getting from that item? Coming back to that Ferrari, the amount of money that you spend on I'm going to have to read this, I know nothing about cars. The money you'd spend on a Ferrari SF90 Spider is about starting price of $575,000. And most of the utility items that car has is the same as you'd find in a Toyota Corolla, starting at $23,000. And what are those utilities? We got 4 wheels, you got a steering wheel, airbags, electric windows, somewhere to put your loose change, all that kind of stuff. And I just did a bit of a straight comparison, which you can see on screen now. And on the basis that the older I get, and the more I want to enjoy the scenery as I drive, I prefer going 0 to 60 in 8.5 seconds than 2.5 seconds. And you know, I've never literally needed to be anywhere 6 seconds sooner. I've never walked into a meeting and someone said, oh, Neil, you're 6 seconds late. So what's the utility value I'm getting from a car that's given me 2.5 seconds 0 to 60 versus 8.5 seconds 0 to 60? Well, you tell me. But not only that, the luggage capacity of a Toyota Corolla is 8 times greater than the Ferrari SF90 or whatever it was called. And a Toyota Corolla has got a 5-star NCAP rating. The Ferrari hasn't even been tested. So whether your thing is fast cars or designer clothes or handbags or collecting coins or record collections or amazing holidays, ask those questions. Who is it you're buying it for? Is it just because you love it? Or is it one of those other things that ChatGPT mentioned? And what's the real value? What's the utility that you're getting from it? That's the big ticket items, but equally as scary and dangerous are the small ticket items. And I said at the start of this that there's a little calculation that you can apply that will really bring this alive. And I'm going to come on to that in a moment. And look, it's difficult to accidentally buy a Ferrari SF90. The kind of person that does that has a willful disregard for luggage space, and they love tearing around the countryside at breakneck speeds in a car that hasn't even been crash tested. But these smaller things, well, you can do this accidentally. Firstly, let's look at subscriptions. You might be paying a lot of money for a television subscription giving you 100 plus TV channels, but when you think about it, you're watching the same 4 or 5 channels, which can be available for free elsewhere. Or you might have an Audible subscription, cost you over £100 a year, and that allows you to listen to 12 books. But tell me, do you listen to 12 books in a year, really? Might you be better off cancelling an Audible subscription and just pay as you go as you listen to books? And so to that simple calculation that I mentioned. Sarah and I, when we were really starting to get serious about saving money, we realised that we were spending around £400 a month on eating out. That's £4,800 a year. Now, what if we were to make a slight change to that number? Now, the important thing here is for Sarah and I, eating out is a big part of our experience of being a human being. We're not willing to just give that up. But could we wind it back? Rather than £400 a month, could we spend £300 a month? And how much would that really impact our lives? And that's where I applied this little calculation. And the calculation wasn't really for us then. It was more for us in retirement. And that being, if we want to retire, spending £400 a month in retirement on eating out, what's the real cost to us today, i.e. back then while we were saving for retirement? So what you need to do is think to yourself, well, we're spending $4,800 a year on eating out. If we apply the rules of the 4% rule of thumb to that, then we take that $4,800 and multiply it by 25. And if we did that, we come up with a number of £120,000. That is to say, if we wanted to spend £400 a month in retirement on eating out, £120,000 of our retirement fund would need to be allocated to that. If, however, we reduced it down to just spending £300 a month, not £400 a month, then that reduces the amount we'd need to save for that to £90,000. So, at the start of the video, I said you could shave time off of your saving into retirement. Just by making that small habitual change, we would need to save £30,000 less for retirement. So just imagine from today, if you're still saving for retirement, that is, that every penny you save from today onwards is to pay for that extra £100 of eating out in retirement. The next £30,000 that you save is just for that. At that point, you might decide, we don't need to eat out for £400 a month. Let's see if we could do it for £300 a month. That way, you could probably bring your retirement date forward by 1 whole year. And I said there was a light bulb moment for Sarah and I, and the problem we had as we were saving for retirement was we felt inferior, I'll be honest. We felt that everybody around us was doing better than us, and we were listening to lots of podcasts and watching YouTube videos of people telling you how to save money and how to be more money wise. And we'd subconsciously watch these videos and think, we wish we were them, but we're not as good as all that. It's not for simple folk like us. But that's when the light bulb went on. That's when we said to ourselves, why not us? The mistakes we made in the past are just that, in the past. We can reinvent ourselves today for the future. And that's what we did. That's what enabled us to retire early. We've been retired now for over 3 years, living our dream of travelling the world. That's why we're here in Spain at the moment, and we've been to multiple countries and continents and had amazing experiences in those last 3 years. And that is through changing our thinking and not assuming that everybody is better than us. Nobody is better than you. You can be the best you that you want to be. And if this message resonates with you, I'd really like it if you watched this video next, because in this video we talk about a way of saving for retirement in a way that we've never seen anybody else talk about. And if you go there, you'll see me and Sarah there giving you a really interesting way of saving for retirement. Look, our dream is world travel. What's yours?